I'm Jamie J. Carr and this is We Built This City, where I talk to young people in the construction industry.
Emma, tell us your job title.
So I'm a projects engineer, but I originally studied mechanical engineering.
And what does that entail?
So I work on projects, I work for mechanical contractors, so I deal with heating systems within buildings. So I start from the pricing stage to going through design and coordination, and then actually install on site, high vis and hard hats, and then the commissioning and handing over and making sure everything works properly in the end then. So you go from your office job to your site job.
What made you get into the industry that you're in and the avenue you've took?
So originally I studied mechanical engineering just because I had a love for physics and maths. I wasn't completely sure where I was going with it. Mechanical engineering is very broad. And then I was graduate of 2020, so it was a little bit, I couldn't travel as much as I wanted to with the degree, so then I looked into construction then. Originally my dad has worked in what I do, so I had a little bit of a push going that way, but no, just there was so many opportunities. I just said I'll give one a try, and 2 years later and I'm loving it, so it's good.
So how did you get into this?
So I studied mechanical engineering for 4 years, and then once I finished up that, I looked at all the different options that mechanical engineering had, and there's just so many different roles within construction. So then I went into a mechanical contractor, which is all heating services, and I'm there 2 years later and I'm loving it.
Do you think you made the right decision?
Yeah, no, definitely. Construction is so open. There's so many different roles that I can work up in. I'm currently doing my master's in project management, which means I'd be kind of more running jobs, which is a little bit more of office side, but I still get to be hands-on working with different trades and seeing how the world works and how buildings are built.
What advice would you give to somebody looking to take the route that you have?
The advice I give to someone is to look at all the different options they can go down. There's a lot of different types of engineering. So I studied mechanical, but you can also do building services to get into the role that I'm in, where I deal with heating services, where there's a lot of different options that to find something that you really love. There's different types of engineering roles that you can go into.
What do you love about it?
I love the people. Yeah, no, the best thing I love about my job is dealing with different types of people. I get to deal with the designer, but also the lads and tradesmen on site and see how things are done.
So what does a typical day look like for you?
So a typical day for me at the moment is I'm currently on site towards the commissioning stages of a job. So I go in, I am dealing hands-on with the fitters and plumbers on site, making sure things are installed correctly, making sure they can do the purpose of what they do. And at the moment I'm dealing with offices, so I make sure everyone's nice and toasty in their office day to day. But at different stages of projects, I'd be doing different things that would be a little bit more in the office. I'm dealing with the fitters on site direct, you know, snagging up the building and just handing over in general.
When you're not on site, what's the office work like?
So when I'm in the office, it's a little bit more formal. I'm dealing with more of the design side of a job, which is slightly more the engineering side. So you'd be looking at the design of a building and the design of the heating services that are going in, and then you're dealing with the consultants and the architects and going through meetings and kind of a little bit more of a 9 to 5.
What would be interesting about your job that people probably don't realise?
So every project is different, every service you put in could be different. I could have a job that has one particular service that I could spend 6 weeks on, or I could be on a 2-year job where you'd have a more kind of, the day-to-day role would be more niche, you'd be more dealing with the lads. But then a lot of people probably wouldn't expect me to be on site as much as I am. And I'm dealing with all contracts, so not just my contractors. I'd be dealing with the electricians, the carpenters, the builders. Yeah, and just dealing with everybody.
So lots to it.
Yeah, it's great though, because no day is ever the same. And then no year is ever the same, no project is ever the same. So you're constantly learning, which is great. It's never repetitive work.
Who's the best crack on site?
It depends. It's funny because different contractors have their little own characteristics. Like you will never catch an electrician with a sweeping brush, but they're a little bit more lighthearted. I don't want to go against my fitters, but probably the electricians. They'd end up just being a little bit more calm and collected.
They have a spark to them, do they?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
What sense of pride do you get?
What I'm most proud about my job is I get to see a building from it just being paper to it actually working, and because I deal with from the design stage until the installation and handover, I actually get to see the people use the job. So it's, you know, everything that's in it, and it's like it originally was a couple of lines on a page and then you're seeing it installed. So the best part I'd say is when there's something that needs to be slightly redesigned on site and then you're down figuring it out, and then when it gets installed you're like, yeah, I'm proud of that. That went in right.
Yeah. For somebody who's considering considering getting involved, why should they?
Someone was considering getting in construction in general is to look at different options straight away, but once you find the one that you want to, is think about the progression of it. Like, I won't just be staying in one place. I'm currently doing my master's in project management to be running more projects than just the engineering on a job. And it's just different roles I can go into. It's constantly changing, and it's never boring. So if you do find a job that you don't like, if you're on a particular site that you don't like, there's always a better one, there's always a different one, and there's always a different route for you to go down within the construction industry.
I like that, it's never boring.
No, definitely not.
Is there any funny moments since you've went down this road that you can remember?
Well, working on a building site is always an interesting place to be. It wouldn't necessarily have the mannerisms of your office. So there's always a lot of slagging, a lot of crack on site, and there's be a little bit of messing here and there. If you park a car in the wrong spot, you might go to it being bubble wrapped or something like that. But no, overall, it's just the crack on site, and anytime the World Cup or anything like that's around, it's, you know, the canteen at lunch is always a great place to be. So it's just working with different types of people, different levels of people. So, you know, you can always work up, but you would always be humbled by the people around you and their talents as well.
Do you make friends?
Construction's interesting because you work on a lot of different sites with different people. So yes and no, you can make friends on the site. At the end of the day, we're all at work, but there definitely is the crack, there definitely is points going around. It depends. If you're on a site, on a job that's further away, you'd end up staying there or things like that. But yeah, no, you could, absolutely. And like my engineers within my company, I can see them as being close friends of mine for a long time.
Oh, that's brilliant. What type of person does it take to be good at your job?
So a person that would be good at my job is people that are good with problem solving and people skills. And if you're better at one more than the other, there's definitely one you can lie off. So if you're good with people skills, you can do more of that. If you're better at the logistics and problem solving, you can stay at that as well. But anything between maths, problem solving and people skills, you get to go in and dive into that area within the working there.
And you did an amalgamation of the both.
Yeah. So I get to do the design side, which is the problem solving, but also then dealing with the people every day on site, which is great.
What type of projects have you worked on, and is there any you're proud of? Or?
Well, the best part of working on projects in construction is the actual building is always going to be something different. So I've worked on office blocks, data centers, pharma plants, down to even just warehouses, because I install heating services, so every building has some sort of heating in it. So you get to see all the different types, so you get to see what's installed in a building, but you also get to be involved in what the building is.
Yeah.
So you get to build a data center and you get to see how the inside of a data center works.
I like it.